Alright, well, after my most recent playthrough of this game, I just had to do a fucking review on it because I love this game so much, and it's any person who loves video games would just get a kick out of this if they haven't already heard about it. And if you haven't heard about it, Sleeping Dogs is a game that came out actually about 10 years ago. And it did a little bit of damage to Square Enix because it wasn't really well received, and it had a lot of development problems. It was actually originally coined as True Crimes Hong Kong at first, but it eventually came out, and it's an amazing game. It really, really is crazily good. The story follows Wei Shen, and he's an undercover cop working with the Triads in Hong Kong to try and infiltrate their organization. And as you definitely would know, it's probably going to have a huge psychological effect on him, and you follow his adventures through this world of crime and deception. Another thing that's cool about the game is that there's all kinds of nice little mechanics that just work so well, and things like hacking, using technology, fighting cop fights, arresting suspects, doing all kinds of things. There's just so much to do in the game, and it's really, really refreshing to see all these new ways of playing games that you don't really see in a lot of other games. Now, the obvious comparison this game makes is to GTA, and although I do like GTA, it obviously has a much higher amount of technology, and the engine that Rockstar has made is incredible. But what's here, I actually consider is to be on par with GTA. This game has a very unique way of feeling like it's not just another GTA clone, it's its own game, and it really, really reflects that because it's more of like an action movie than GTA. GTA is a little bit more grounded. The world's a lot more dark. It's sad to say, but it's kind of a lot more realistic, like real life in Grand Theft Auto. But here in Sleeping Dogs, we see a story of an actually like really good person who's trying to just do good and make his way in a harsh world, and he goes about it valiantly and with lots of confidence, and it's really refreshing to see a character who's actually likable, relatable, and for the most part good. Now, one of the things that you can't really do a review without coming up with some complaints, and I do have some complaints about Sleeping Dogs, although I do kind of consider it a perfect game. The things I don't like is that sometimes the ongoing missions can be sometimes repetitive because you do a lot of the same things, and just the simple fact that I wish there was more of Sleeping Dogs. You know, it's highly unlikely because of its hit past, but a sequel to Sleeping Dogs would be amazing, and to get more of these kinds of worlds and open world type of interactions would be just so amazing. Now, the world itself is constructed amazingly. You will absolutely love Hong Kong, and the architecture in the world feels so believable that it's almost not even funny. This world feels just as diverse and complex as Grand Theft Auto's, and everything kind of just works in the open world. There are a little bit of glitches, but overall you're going to find a very solid engine and things work correctly most of the time. Now, when Sleeping Dogs came out, it came out in 2012 at a time when there was a lot of good games coming out at once, so there's possible drowned out. But another thing is it just seems like it's kind of feels like it's a different type of world than traditional open world. It's very, very lived in. It's very modernized, and it's just like kind of like playing in an action movie. Fucking awesome game. The combat is really, really sick, and you'll find yourself often doing all kinds of cool maneuvers, and you're like, yeah, that was sweet, I'm fucking awesome. And it makes you feel better about yourself because you wish you could do these things. Taking on multiple people at once and just pulling off combos and moves is awesome. It's awesome. It truly feels good to kick ass in this game. And kind of leaves you to think about what's next. I mean, they're in the open world sphere. I think Sleeping Dogs did something that honestly Cyberpunk is going for. Is it feels really good to live in these cool city, futuristic worlds, and to have a story and more down-to-earth elements like going to street vendors and buying food, buying clothes, going out and doing these things. These are awesome things to live in the world, because you feel like you can live in this world. And I think it's an important note for any game developers to notice that games where you're allowed to just do whatever the fuck you want, whenever the fuck you want to do it, is probably the coolest thing about open world games. And the Sleeping Dogs has such a unique location, and it feels so natural and realistic that it just makes you want to explore, want to know it all. And I've already beaten the game twice, and onto my third playthrough. But geez, man, this game just constantly delivers, and it feels cool to go back to even after a couple of years. Well, I mean, Sleeping Dogs does have some downsides. You wish there was more of it. The DLC is fantastic. It comes fun definitive edition. This game is an absolute no-brainer to buy. If you even like video games a little bit, you'll get lots of enjoyment in this game. Seriously, one of the best open world story-driven games there is. And that goes to say something.